From the bayou to the Rocky Mountains, and the depths of the Pacific to the sandbars of New England, this is Boat Trader's Stomping Grounds. From small bass boats to giant offshore titans and everything in between, boaters across America show us why they love their boat and exactly what makes it the perfect vessel for their neck of the woods. In this episode, we travel to the outer reaches of Cape Cod, Massachusetts, to meet a unique group of local recreational boaters, dubbed the Tin Boat Mafia. Extending 65 miles out into the Atlantic Ocean, Cape Cod's historic New England maritime character, natural landscapes, iconic lighthouses, and abundant wildlife have captured the hearts of visitors and locals alike for generations. Here is where we find our so-called Tin Boat Mafia in its natural element.
Hey guys, this is Ryan with Boat Trader, and I'm standing here in the mud in Cape Cod, just south of the national seashore. And behind me is the Great Marsh, which is a beautiful, natural, untouched landscape leading out to the barrier beaches beyond. This area is home to lobstermen, sport fishing boat captains, and oyster farmers. It's also the stomping grounds of a local group of people that call themselves the Tin Boat Mafia. It's a heartwarming family story, especially during these pandemic times, and that's what we're going to be exploring in this episode of Stomping Grounds. Let's go check it out.
I've been out on the water since I was a little kid, and it's beautiful out there. No cars, yeah, it's just quiet, it's peaceful. I'm Dawn, and I'm here on Cape Cod, part of the Tin Boat group.
Well, we started in the late 70s with a tiny boat with a little 5-horsepower engine. In 1985, something like that, I got this boat.
During the pandemic, we started off when we were a little bit nervous. I would go out with Sue and Jol, and we'd wear masks in the boat. And out at the beach, we were 6 feet apart. It was the one place that we actually felt good about because it was almost normal. We were in the sun, on the beach. You would never know there was a pandemic happening when we were out there. It was just like old times.
Dawn is right that, for a lot of us, it was to beat the boredom of staying at home all the time during the virus.
So, during this period of COVID, this past summer especially, we've been able to come down here and be naturally socially distanced because we're all hanging around on the beach. The wind blows a lot, it's outdoors, it's comfortable and warm, and you kind of put it all behind you.
We always had big fiberglass boats, and once David passed away 7 years ago, one of the guys on the Tin Boat Beach Gang crew took me up to Atlantic Boats, and we bought this baby here, the Skiba Strong. So I no longer was a fiberglass boat person. I became part of the Tin Boat crew, which has been great. And they very protective of me and watch out for me, but fiberglass boats just weren't the thing to have anymore out there with the way the sand's washing in and too many sandbars to hit. I enjoy having this little boat.
Tin boats are great because they're fairly light, they're easy to trail and get in and out of the water. That's the main advantage that they have.
This boat's 16 feet long, Ryan. I named it after David when he was fighting pancreatic cancer. We said Skiba Strong. We had t-shirts made, the whole beach gang wore them. So I thought it was very fitting to keep Dave with us and make it Skiba Strong.
This is the Tin Man. The Tin Man is 16 feet long.
The boat we use a lot is our boat called Beach Bug, who is our little aluminum boat. It's easy to jump on, easy to pack stuff up in. Brings us places we couldn't get in a big boat, definitely. We pack up some sandwiches and some drinks and head on out to avoid all the fuss of the big popular beaches. It's great for Lyle too. This is my service dog, technically, but he's mostly family.
We have this group of people that we've gotten to know very well. There's other people that come as well, and looks like a little army there for the Tin Boat group.
I am a water baby, so I love to be in the water, swim, surf, everything. And when my family got the tin boat, we're able to access all of these outer islands. Cape Cod actually has some great waves, especially during low tide, and kind of the shifts in sand create these shoals and sandbars, which create that surf for you. It's just a really fun time to be out there on those outer shoals where you can really only get if you have a little tin boat like my family does.
All right, hey everyone, we've made our way down to Foxborough, Massachusetts, where I'm standing in front of the closest Bass Pro shops to Cape Cod, and they've been kind enough to lend us a tracker all aluminum boat that we can bring back to the Cape, put on the water, and see if we can go blend in with all the tin boat aficionados out there. Let's go check it out. So here we are, this is the Tracker Super Guide V16. This is a perfect example of an aluminum boat that would be ideal for the shallow sandbars and barrier beaches and marshes of Cape Cod. It's an all welded hull, so it's super sturdy. You got a nice casting deck here, nice in-deck fishing boxes. This one has 2 fishing chairs it comes with, and you've got 5 different pedestals that you can plug them into depending on your fishing needs. She's equipped with a Minn Kota power drive trolling motor up front in the bow here. And then in back, she's rigged with a 50 horsepower Mercury 4-stroke. They're putting about 5 gallons of gas in for us, and we're gonna go take it for a spin, see how she handles. We're here at the National Seashore in Cape Cod, and we're gonna go all the way out to the barrier beach beyond. It's a beautiful place.
In 1961, President Kennedy signed the Cape Cod National Seashore Bill, setting aside roughly 44,000 acres and nearly 40 miles of pristine natural coastline along Cape's Atlantic-facing eastern shore. The park now draws more than 4 million visitors annually to its sandy beaches, marshes, ponds, and diverse wildlife habitats. A prominent feature of the Outer Cape is its great marshlands that stretch for miles, broken only by shifting sands and natural canals, carving the tall grasses into a maze of green and blue. Navigating the cuts and narrow channels in the outer marshes can be tricky. The tides ebb and flow, constantly changing the underwater landscape. Deep water often gives way suddenly to mere 3-inch deep sandbars. Strong currents pull the boat to and fro, and the captain has to constantly adjust heading to keep on course and avoid running aground.
All right, now you're gonna head to the other buoy marker. Now take a left.
Where?
Now head to the next buoy.
Every year there's a different way to do it. You have to go further one way or another, and if you're lucky, there's some marks laid out. Usually they're not out there early, and so you have to kind of do it by yourself, and sometimes they're wrong. And so you really have to look at the color of the water, and it helps. If it's a darker blue, you usually have deeper water.
It's a challenge, to say the least. We don't have the flow of water we used to have, because when the tides come over, the storms, it's bringing all the sand in. Dave had a plane, so we would fly over early spring with the plane at low tide and check out where the sandbars are, and I would take pictures and so forth.
Big storm, if it stirs things up, everything's different.
Here, if you stand quietly for long enough, you can almost hear the sea shifting its sands.
All right, so we're out here in the marsh by the Cape Cod National Seashore, and just talking for a second about waters like these. Of course, we have a shallow draft boat today, which is good. And in these types of waters, the saying is always local knowledge is best, meaning that the sand moves around so frequently around here that really only the people that are in it, every day or frequently anyways, weekly, throughout the year, kind of know where the channel is as it moves around. So this is a series of channels throughout the marsh, little canals. Pretty much all of them are just natural. We're coming into Cable Creek, and Cable Creek is named Cable Creek. The locals still call it Cable Creek because that's where the transatlantic communications cable came in from France over to the US.
Laid back in the 1800s, this 3,200-mile undersea cable came ashore at the historic, still-standing French cable hut and continued to what is now the French Cable Station Museum. It carried the message Charles Lindbergh had landed in Paris back in 1927, as well as important military messages in both world wars. Operational until 1959, it's now part of American history.
The cape sticking way out into the Atlantic was where it was the closest. The clearest cut through the marsh was called Cable Cut, still named that, although I don't think the cable's going through there anymore.
You have to be careful around here. There's a lot of oyster farmers and a lot of lobster pots to avoid. so there's a lot of hazards in the water. That I've been boating these waters for a long time, so I can pretty much know all the areas to go and all the turns to take, and there are a lot of turns to take, so you know, this is my stomping grounds, right? So if you want to sit in the seat now, and we should be coming into more deep water, so we should be all right. We're gonna try cruising for a second. Let me know if anything. Oh, you want to put your bag on the ground there, like so it doesn't fall, slide back or something. Just secure everything a little bit. All right. Shallows right here. So right now we're coming through a really shallow bar. There's actually no way around it. This is a big hangout area of the seals and the seagulls and of course the sharks. So we have a lot of issues with great white sharks out here and swimmers and surfers. And they feed off the seals, which you're gonna see up here shortly. And coming up here is where all the lobstermen have their boats moored.
Those are legit lobster boats?
Yeah.
Lobstermen are great. They're very considerate. They're thoughtful. They don't mind at all. You know, you just drive the boat out to the sandbars. You know, we're keeping them alive too, so that they can continue to live here.
Wild and natural, and the marshes spread way out into the sea. And you can go all the way out to the outer shoals where when the tide goes away they come up, and they're great places to walk and sit in the sun and talk and have lunch. It has a unique feeling, it has a culture of its own. It's a fun place to be.
You really feel that sense of just you're out here and you're a part of this nature and this unpredictability. It's super peaceful, just surrounded by ocean and nature as far as you can see.
When I have trouble on the sandbars, I kind of say to my daughter, why don't you take it in? And the joke is, yeah, Mom, it's low tide, and you just don't want to get stuck on the sandbars.
Okay, here we are, the outer beach, the sandbars of the outer barrier beach. see the seals. This is the reason why we have the great white sharks. Try not to get too close to those guys. You see the seals? Yeah, this is the stomping grounds of the seals.
We sometimes run into a lot of seals, like groves and groves of seals, and all their heads come out one by one, and Lyle freaks out about it.
In the summer, boaters come out here, hang out all day on these sandbars.
It's a whole timing and adventure thing, and so you kind of have to get out in time, pick a sandbar, and then as the tide comes up, the sandbar sort of disappears.
A friend gathers driftwood and things from the natural ocean side, hangs things together and perches things on top of each other and creates this sculpture.
I was bored sitting on the beach and looking around, and I found a whole bunch of driftwood that had come up, and I made a kind of a teepee, and I came back and it had grown. People had added things to it, and I thought, oh, this is sort of neat. Come back a couple days later and it had changed again.
We call it the Jolatron. Every year there's a new one, captures the spirit of the summer, everybody takes part in it.
Jol's Jolatron, he became like a magnet from everybody from 2-year-olds up to 90-year-olds.
The Jolatron is great. It's mostly driftwood. Every year he makes a new sculpture out on the spit. It kind of symbolizes summer and us getting together and being out on those sandbars together.
I like to call them the structures, just because Jolatron sounds a little bit too much like I'm praising myself, but it kind of grew, and everyone keeps adding. It becomes a sort of a community effort out there. It's a perfect place for us to enjoy the summer.
There's stuff for everybody to do out there, whether it's fishing, swimming, scavenging on the beach, or building the Jolatron. It's just a peaceful place for us, and I think we all look forward to it.
It's kind of a little Tin Boat Mafia, if you will, of people who hang around together with their tin boats, tell stories, catch up on their families, enjoy the day in the sun.
In the words of naturalist Henry David Thoreau, Cape Cod is the bare and bended arm that makes Cape Cod Bay so snuggly. A storm in the fall or winter is the time to visit it. A lighthouse or a fisherman's hut, the true hotel. This is the stomping grounds of the Tin Boat Mafia.
I'm Liza, and this is my stomping grounds.
What's your stomping grounds? Follow us on youtube.com/BoatTrader and on Instagram at BoatTraderUSA, and share your boating stories for a chance to be featured. Who knows, maybe we'll come to your neighborhood next. This is Boat Trader's Stomping Grounds.